The Cupertino Senior Center hired a new recreation coordinator who will share his career and his passion of sports.
Welcome to The Better Part, a program that encompasses a diverse spectrum of topics important to our community, which we hope will both inform and entertain you. We invite you to sit back and enjoy the program.
Hello, I'm Tom Beggs, your host today. My guest is Justin Cecil, the new recreation coordinator at the Cupertino Senior Center. Hello, Justin.
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Before we talk about your current job, I would like to know a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in El Dorado Hills. I was born in Sacramento. I lived with my grandparents for a while. My grandpa was a big part of my life at that time. If you've ever been rafting in Northern California, they stop at the Salmon Falls Bridge, which is where I grew up, right on the American River.
And what were your interests?
Back then, it was just being outside, being in the outdoors, and I would go to convalescent homes with my grandpa. We would sing Bible hymns to them, so I was really involved with my grandpa and being around my grandparents at that time.
And Justin, mention early years of your sports.
I played a lot of baseball growing up, and then being in the outdoors, I rode a lot of bikes. So in school, I played a lot of baseball. I was a catcher all my life, all the way through high school. In high school, I also raced BMX in Santa Clara. Got a couple trophies here.
And so you continued, or did you continue with those sports all the way through high school and possibly into college?
I did not. I stopped playing competitive baseball after high school. I stopped racing bikes after high school. Then I started getting into golf, and that's what led me into college playing. Not for the college, but I got into practicing and becoming really good at golf. And then I took a PE class in college, which got me into scuba diving. So now I'm a certified rescue scuba diver.
So I was going to say, what are your absolute favorite sports?
My absolute favorite is golf. I've played a PGA practice test to become a professional PGA pro to teach golf. And then I love scuba diving. It's a great vacation sport. And as well being certified as a rescue scuba diver in case an emergency situation came around, I could save someone.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so that kind of leads me to my next question. So what developed your passion for these sports?
Growing up in El Dorado Hills, it was in the outdoors. And being with my grandpa, he was a good support system, playing baseball and being outside. So playing sports really got me into nature. Being outside and being around people when they're happy, I think those were a combination of what got me into and keeps me passionate about sports.
And I was going to say your role models were your grandfather?
Definitely my grandfather was a big part of my life and growing up and a big influence, and he was a great guy.
So that leads me to my next question. What year did you graduate from high school?
I graduated from Fremont High School in Sunnyvale in 2006.
And did you have a major in mind, or did you know what your college degree might be in?
I didn't at that time, but I was working at the Sunnyvale golf course. Had been working there for about a year, and being at the golf course, I was in recreation under their community service department, so I figured that was a great opportunity to open a lot of doors in college, and being very good and passing the PGA professional test allowed me to open more doors in recreation. Golf's kind of the weekend sport and getting into a lot of great fundraisers, definitely all for nonprofits. So I like to play in fundraisers when I play golf. Now that I'm so good, I kind of help out team members in 4-man scrambles.
Now, what's your strong point once you're out on the golf course? Is it the short, or is it the long, or is it putting, or what?
I can hit the ball 300 yards, so I can drive with the best, but all the money's made in putting, so I'm pretty good at that too.
Working on that as well, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have a degree in recreation. What does that mean, and how did you decide on that recreation degree?
Well, having a recreation degree is kind of like working hard and playing hard at the same time. Recreation is a big part of people's life in the community and in the economy. Recreation provides opportunities to keep people out of jail, kids out of, in school and doing well in school. All the way up to seniors, it keeps people living longer, healthier, and happier. And I wanted to open as many doors as I could for my future career.
So what college did you go to, and when did you graduate?
I went to San Jose State. I'm a local boy. And I graduated in the year 2010 in the winter there.
Okay. So Justin, another thing that you mentioned that you might be interested in is being a city manager. And I know that being a recreation major involves more than just knowing all these outdoor activities and being able to plan for them and different populations and things. But how would what you know now help you lead into some sort of city manager's job in the future?
Well, working in the Senior Center and in recreation, you're part of the city organization. So I work for the city of Cupertino. And recreation is all about the people, bringing up a healthy community. And I feel that that's the goal of the city manager, to not only have an economically viable city, but also to have a healthy community. And so I think the foundation of a recreation background with sports and seniors is going to help me to be a successful city manager.
Yeah, that's good. As a college educator myself, and as a parent and as a taxpayer, we demand a lot out of our cities for recreation services, and we like to have as much as we can for as thin as you can run that budget.
Definitely.
So how do you envision the future right now for recreation, for instance, in the city of Cupertino? Does it look like you're going to be able to continue with what you have, or, what's the future?
Yeah, definitely. Recreation adds to every other department. Recreation is a place for your kids to have summer jobs. Recreation is a place to have people to have a full and long career. Recreation is a place for, once you retire, to come back and work again. Recreation is a place for the little kids to come to go to school, the Tiny Tot programs, definitely. Recreation also keeps people healthy and happy out of the hospitals, less of a police force and spending less on the police and fire department. Recreation is also a place that brings the community together, and so you're going to have more business done there. You're going to bring more outsiders into your community, and everybody in that community benefits from the recreation department.
Yeah, I know there are so many internal values to what you do. And just to kind of wrap it up here, can you speak to one other aspect, and maybe you have, and that's that what value do you put on the social component of having people come to that senior center and providing, an uplifting experience of everything from computer training to cooking to exercise to, I know you know the programs there better than I do, but how important is that social component for people?
It's very important. Actually, the other day, UCSF just came out with a study that said loneliness will end your life sooner.
Yes.
So having that social component is going to extend your life. You're going to be happier. You're going to be healthier. And being social, you're going to bring your friends in to be social. They're going to be happier and healthier. At the Senior Center, we definitely provide that environment to be social, to be active. And we're definitely a place of great teamwork. We are successful together, and when we fail, we learn from that and we do better the next time.
Well, great, and I just hope that in 5 years when I get ready to retire, I can be a full member of Cupertino Senior Center in a different capacity, and hope to be working with you or helping you out, or just taking a class, because it seems like a wonderful place, and with you there, it makes it even better. So, Justin, I have a kind of a more of a philosophical question for you. I remember as a young person myself 30 years ago trying to start water programs at De Anza and other community colleges when it was very hard to break in with new disabled programs, when you had existing sports going on and regular swim classes, and you looked around and there weren't very many disabled people being able to enjoy that environment. When you came down to see our pool and everything that we do down there, on any given day, you'd maybe a water polo game and a swim lesson, and then our class filled full of disabled students. What did you think about that setting?
Oh, that was wonderful. Coming out of my rescue scuba diving training, it was felt really comfortable, because you can be kind of worried in that kind of situation with disabled people in a pool environment. But it was great to see, anytime anybody's active and wanting to be healthy and being happier, it's really great to see, and it was awesome to have people, even with an oxygen tank with the tube going across the pool. Anything that it takes to keep yourself active and in the water, it's definitely a great workout and low impact, and you're doing great things out there.
So to an outside person walking in on this new setting, it looked like everybody had an opportunity out there.
And maybe I'm biased. I grew up with an uncle that has Down syndrome, so my grandparents started a square dancing group for younger people who had Down syndrome, and I helped out with that. So maybe I'm more comfortable with working in those types of situations. But it was definitely good to see that your class is working out well out there.
Well, now you get a chance to tell a few stories. You mentioned earlier that you had a story that you wanted to share with everybody. Would you like to talk about that?
The Senior Center, speaking of being active, one of my job duties is computer classes. And so I was teaching a computer class, and I had one of our students come in. First time in the Senior Center, she came in for a membership just to take this class. After the class, she started participating in the exercise classes and Zumba. And then after her 3 or 4 weeks in the exercise class, she comes up to the front desk and says, "Hey, I just want to thank you. When I first started and joined here, I was limping up to the front door and hobbling in. And now she walks real well without a cane or anything.
Fantastic.
She lost about 90 pounds. She's doing amazing." So that's the type of the Senior Center, when I first walked in for your class, that I had no idea what the changes and what the environment at the Senior Center was.
Makes you feel great to see those changes, doesn't it?
That was a great opportunity. It was my first steps into the Cupertino Senior Center. I had no idea what a senior center was at that point. Growing up with my grandpa, I thought it was kind of like a convalescent home, a live-in care home, but it's absolutely not that. It's I think the best place in the community. A lot of vibrant people there, and it opened my eyes a lot to the senior center and that kind of atmosphere.
So how did you actually come to work at the Cupertino Senior Center?
Well, I got hired on for the city of Cupertino in the youth and teens division, working in the noontime program. I needed an internship, so I asked the supervisors in Cupertino if they could pick me up and give me an internship. Julia Lammy, the supervisor at the Senior Center, said, "Hey, come on over." So I worked really hard over there to impress everybody, and I think it kind of stuck.
And what are your new job duties?
I kind of took over 2 positions. I'm the volunteer coordinator. I hire all the incoming volunteers. I supervise all the volunteer programs, including the Better Part. The Rhythm Airs Band. I do the AARP driving programs at the Senior Center. I put on the monthly birthday bash socials, which is a big event once a month.
Wow.
I supervise the computers and technology classes. We hire volunteers to teach those classes, but we also contract out instructors for those classes. And then I do anything else I can too to help the team. We're a great team at the Senior Center.
So lots of programs and activities that you're now responsible for.
Yes.
So we have some pictures of some of your activities that you coordinate, Justin. Let's look at them now. There are so many activities to view everything the Senior Center offers. You can visit at their website or, of course, just stop in. So speaking of classes, I teach a few of those classes myself, and for almost my entire career I've had the fortunate experience to be working with seniors in one or more populations. And at Cupertino Senior Center, we've been there for a number of years, probably 20 years plus. And so some of our newest courses involved getting seniors out in outdoor settings. And fortunately, we have a new bus at De Anza that we purchased a few years ago that fits the needs of athletes and seniors at the same time. We're able to take people in wheelchairs to healthy seniors to healthy athletes to disabled athletes out on Thursday hikes where we have young and old sharing outdoor experiences. Justin, I don't remember whether we had that bus when you were with us.
You did, yeah.
We did, okay. So that's kind of our newest program, but we do have ongoing exercise classes in the morning and the afternoon, 5 days a week at Cupertino Senior Center. And when you were there with us, of course, my students loved you dearly. I think sometimes they might have rather had you in that place than myself. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I hope that you gained a little bit of energy from that class, and I can tell you're a very enthusiastic person, and you're going to do well with the things that you're involved with at Cupertino Senior Center.
Well, thank you, and I enjoyed helping out in your class. It was amazing, and we're glad to have you teaching classes at the Senior Center.
Well, thank you. I love it. It's my favorite place to work. So what are your future plans?
Well, with the degree in recreation and having the golf and scuba diving background, and now working at the Senior Center, I'm thinking that the baby boomer population is getting older, and with that, and I love working with that group of people. I really wanted to and saw myself owning a resort, maybe Hawaii,
wow,
Pacific Grove, Pebble Beach type place, where you can golf and scuba dive at the same time in the same kind of atmosphere. That would be my future goals. If that doesn't work out, I would love to be a city manager. That would be always fun. Kind of my mission statement for myself is I wanted to make a positive change for my local community, and I think doing either of those would help that.
Yeah, well, I think those are some very lofty, noble ideas. So if you were dreaming about the people that would be coming to one of these clubs that you might be managing, what kinds of people would you see there?
Any and all. I think that anybody who has the drive to get up and get out and interact with other people, as long as you're social, you're always welcome to anything that I do, at least. And I think anybody staying active you're going to be happier, you're going to be healthier, and you're going to enjoy life a lot better.
So you're going to be okay if some 85-year-old person comes up to you and wants surfing lessons?
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. Justin, is there anything else you'd like to add about, you mentioned earlier a little bit about this mud sports. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Recently I got into doing these 5K mud runs. My first race was the San Jose Half Marathon, and that was kind of boring. It was just a running thing. I don't really like running. I like outdoors. I like going into parks because I believe parks make life better. And so running in these trails and in parks got me into these obstacle mud runs. So I've been doing that.
Now, you're an outdoor person, so can you tell us a little bit about this apron that you have back here? What's your take on our parks?
Definitely, parks make life better, and I live that. I work out in parks. That's where I go to have my fun, my recreation. I also volunteer for an organization called CPRS, which stands for the California Parks and Recreation Society. They're a group of recreation professionals like myself and yourself who kind of push forward the profession and help out and try to express how parks make life better.
Yeah.
In parks making your housing and your property more valuable, in keeping clean, healthy water, keeping the environment and the wildlife up. So all those things, parks do make life better on a whole.
They're wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. And you're not going to find me disagreeing with anything you said because I'm a great state park supporter and county parks. Our Santa Clara County parks are unbelievably nice. And of course, we're out in them every Thursday. So people that are in the audience or out there watching this show, what's a great website for that Santa Clara Parks?
Well, I mean, if you go to Santa Clara County Parks, they have a great website.
Santa Clara County Parks, okay. Yeah. And they have a nice description, I believe, of all the parks as well. Right?
They do.
Any favorites?
My favorite park is Rancho San Antonio. Just kind of, it's between my work and home, so I go out there for a run every once in a while. And you see all kinds of wildlife, so it just re-energizes me after a good day of work.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for sharing those two things.
Thank you.
So, Justin, you have some wonderful trophies and medallions here, and I'm looking at them. And could you just briefly tell us about them? Why don't you go through them?
Well, these on the table here, these are my BMX racing trophies. Okay. I have quite a few. These are actually the first place trophies. The one over here, this is actually a second place trophy. This was a state championship race. The only time I've ever fallen in a race when I was riding my bike was when I got this trophy. I fell down in the first turn. Everybody passed me, got up, passed everybody again, came in second place. So I was pretty proud of that.
Wow.
Really, my don't give up attitude.
Don't give up, yes, very good. And then what are the medallions here?
These medallions, this first one here is from the San Jose Rock and Roll Half Marathon, which was my lead-in to these mud runs. And these rest are the mud runs. There's 3 there. And then the wood one here. This wood one was clean, but after the mud run, you kind of grab with your muddy hand, and it's real dirty now. So,
is this a relatively new sport?
I think it is. It's being more popular. There's more companies and organizations coming out with them, but they're very fun.
And all ages are able to compete in this sort of thing, or?
Yeah, as long as you're able to get over an obstacle, you don't have to go over the obstacle. You can always go around, but I see all ages there.
And you mentioned parks, so describe or name some of the parks that you have had these events occur at.
The Henry Coe Park.
Henry Coe Park.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time. We got really muddy. I did one at the Infineon Raceway, which is not really a park, but it was still in the outdoors and in the great scenery out there.
And did you mention Grant Ranch? Was that another setting for?
Yeah, Mount Hamilton and the Grant Park up there.
So that's a new kind of sport for people wanting outdoor athletics. Huh?
Yes. It's kind of the step before they come to your class in the hiking class.
Very good, very good. Well, I want to thank you for being on this program, and maybe in the future we can get together again and describe the tales and events and places that we've been and shared in different populations of people.
Absolutely, I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching this edition of The Better Part, which has produced almost 1,200 programs. Look for past and future programs on YouTube and at the Santa Clara County Public Library.